So this video is a follow-up video to a previous tutorial I did on fading out a game object. That only covered sprites, so in this video we're going to look at covering sprites and meshes. If you take a look at my first decal, bullet hole, you can see the decal is a sprite, and we've got our fade out script attached to that, and use mesh is not ticked. If I go to my dirt decal and we have a look at the mud decal, you'll see this has got a mesh renderer on it. It's using a material, and we've just got a used mesh tick. So if I click play, and we walk up to this wall and unleash a clip into the wall, you'll notice they're fading away nicely. If we do the same, as you can see, those meshes, they're fading away nicely. Okay, so let's take a look at the script. So the first thing we need are some variables. We want 3 floats. You can make them private or public, it's entirely up to you. The first one will be for the fade delay. The second one will be the current alpha value. The third will be the required alpha value. And then we want a bool to if we're going to use the mesh or not. And we want a private sprite renderer, a private renderer, and a private colour. So if you want to pause the video. Okay, next thing is the method. We're going to use the onEnable method, and then we want to do a try statement. If you start typing try, I'll show you up here, and then hit tab, it will automatically insert the statement for you. So we're going to try, and we're going to get the mesh renderer, which will be get component in children renderer. Then we're going to try and get the sprite renderer, again, which is get component in children sprite renderer. Now we're going to set the new colour, but I'm using a ternary operator here. So this is going to work depending on whether or not we're using the use mesh bool. So the new colour will be use mesh and then a question mark. So if we're going to use the mesh, we want to use the mesh renderer material.color, and then you want a colon sprite renderer color. So basically this, rather than using an if else if statement like we've had to down in the coroutine, you can get away with a piece of shorthand by doing use mesh, which is the bool, a question mark, and this will be true and this will be false. Then we're going to set the new color .a, which is the alpha value, to our current alpha, and then we're going to start the coroutine fade object with our current alpha, our required alpha, and our fade delay. If that fails, we're just going to debug log no renderer found. On disable, we're just going to stop all coroutines. Okay, for the coroutine, we want to take in a float, our current alpha, a float for our required alpha, and a float for our fade time. And then we'll do a for loop, and we're going to do for t equals 0. If t is less than 1, t plus equals time.delta time divided by fade time. Then we're going to curly brackets. Then we're going to set the new color .a equal to mathf.lerp. We're going to lerp from our current alpha to our required alpha over the value t, which is this float value here. Then if we're using the mesh, we're going to set the mesh material.color to the new color. Else, if we're using the sprite, we're going to set the sprite renderer color to the new color, and we yield return null until that's complete. Then you just set the game object active to false, and then you can do whatever you want with it after that. If you want to return it to your pool, you can return it to your pool. You can destroy it. So let's quickly go over it one final time. We've got 3 private serialized floats: fade delay, current alpha, and required alpha. We've got a private bool, which is serialized again if we're going to use the mesh renderer or not. Then we've got a private sprite renderer reference. We've got a private renderer. Don't do mesh renderer, do renderer. And we're going to call that mesh renderer. Then a private color, a new color. Then we're going to try and get the components. So we're going to try and get the mesh renderer, sprite renderer, new color, remembering this basically is a replacement for this. As you can see, so we're doing, that would be if use mesh, and then that would be true, and then this little colon would be the else, and then the sprite renderer like we've got down here. Okay, so that's a script. That's how you can fade sprites and meshes in and out in your game. Hope you found the video useful. I look forward to seeing you in the next tutorial.